Hey everyone, it's Coach Kush 420 doing meal of the day, shrimp with creamy polenta and tomato ragout. So we're going to start, we got some shrimp, you're going to need some cornmeal, milk, water, butter, mascarpone cheese, shallots, garlic, cherry tomatoes, heirloom tomatoes, parsley, some lemon juice, and we're going to season everything with some salt, pepper, and garlic powder. Alright, so first I'm going to show you how to take care of the shrimp, and we're going to run through how to make some polenta. And then we're going to go through how to make our tomato ragout and then bring it all together to make a nice delicious meal. So first we're going to take our shrimp, we've cut down the back side, we're going to remove our poop chute, and we're going to take the shell and tail off. So we're not doing just one shrimp, we're doing a bunch, but you don't necessarily need to see me freaking clean a whole ton. So we've got our milk and our water, it's 2 cups of each, boiling off in a medium sauce pot. Once those are at a boil, we start to slowly pour in our cornmeal and mix that in. You want to be sure to mix constantly to make sure that all of the cornmeal granules are getting absorbed and cooked evenly throughout the mixture. And then you'll see as they start to cook, it'll start to swell and thicken up. And at that point, you can start to throw a lid on it and just let it sit to the side on low heat. Like I said, we're just going to keep mixing until all that stuff gets nice and absorbed. So we'll take a few minutes. This is on a high speed right now. So you can start to see it's starting to swell, it's starting to thicken up a little bit. That moisture is starting to get absorbed into the cornmeal. All in all, to cook the cornmeal, cook the polenta, it'll take about 25 minutes or so. But once you get through this stage, you don't have to keep your eye on it so much, and you don't have to stir it consistently. You just need it to get nice and thickened for the first part, and you can see that's starting to happen right about now. All that cornmeal is starting to swell. So once you're about that level and thickness, you can start to throw a lid on it, set it to the side, put it on low heat, and just let that continue to cook. Next we're going to move on and start to prep our vegetables for our tomato ragout while our polenta is slowly cooking away. So we're going to take the core out of our beautiful purple and green heirloom tomato. We're going to take the sticker off the other one, take the core out of that as well. Next we're going to clean off some garlic cloves. If you don't know, you just want to remove that little papery outer layer. There's been all sorts of little tips and tricks and things that I've tried over the years, but to be honest, your fingertips can do it just as well. So just get every little bit off of there. Once you get those clean, we're going to do the rest of those. And then we're taking our shallot, we're going to take off the top, we're going to cut off the bottom, and you can see right there it's kind of 2 shallots wrapped in one little layer. So we're just going to take it off because we only want the larger of the 2 bits of shallots. So we're just scraping that first little layer off, and then we've got our 2 pieces. Next We're going to super top so I can show you how to do some proper knife cuts. So we're going to go through, we're going to make our little small dice within our shallots. And then kind of back end kind of separated. So we're just going to give that a quick little chop up. Try to get that nice and small as well. And we're just going to set that aside and throw it into our little dish. And then we're going to just thinly slice some garlic cloves. You're just looking for nice little thin slices. So as soon as you get to a point where you can't get a nice thin cut, just set it aside. You can use those ends of the garlic cloves for minced garlic for some other dish. So to do this, you just want to make sure that you're holding your fingertips behind your first knuckle and you're just rubbing the knife right along the edge of your finger, moving back ever so slightly to try and get as thin as you can. Make sure that your fingertips are behind your middle finger, so therefore you're not cutting any fingertips that might be sticking out. Just move your knife back and forth, rock it back from tip to edge. We're going to set those in our little dish, then we're going to dice up our tomatoes. And do about 1/4 of an inch by 1/4 of an inch dice on these. So we're just going to first slice those up. And come back and make our strips. And then make our dice. We're going to dice up both of these tomatoes. I'm only going to really show you one. You always want to make sure that you have a nice sharp knife when using a tomato or when cutting a tomato. Or you could use a serrated knife, which works well. So we've got a nice hot saute pan here with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. We're going to saute off our shallots and garlic. Try to get a little bit of color on those, but not that much. You're not looking for a full caramelization, but a little bit of golden brown isn't going to hurt. You're really just trying to sweat out those flavors of the onions and shallots, or the shallots and garlic. So you start to see a little bit of caramelization on some of that. So we're just about getting there. Just going to give it a quick little stir. Then we're going to add in some cherry tomatoes, which is going to help build up some body in our tomato ragu. Because our heirloom tomatoes that we just added right there are going to cook down and kind of get all mushy. So we're just going to toss all those together, get everything nice and coated, delicious shallots and garlic. Just let that all cook down. Just add a little bit of extra oil. Kind of help give some moisture to the sauce as well. So we're just gonna, like I said, we're just gonna let these cook down. You're gonna make sure that you're tossing them every now and then so you're not burning anything and you're letting everything cook nice and evenly. We're just gonna let those tomatoes break down and let everything get infused. So we've sauteed off our shrimp real quick in just a little bit of oil. I've hit it with some lemon. We're going to throw in some butter and just let it finish cooking as we steam it with the lid on. So once that butter is essentially melted, our shrimp will be done. We'll no longer have that opaque kind of blue color you saw in the beginning when we cleaned it. And it'll be nice and pink and white, cooked all the way through. So the seasoning I've hit on this shrimp is like some Old Bay or whatever kind of seafood seasoning mixture you might have. So we're just letting that butter and steam just kind of cook all that shrimp. With that little bit of lemon juice and the spices, this is also kind of creating a nice little butter sauce. And what I'm doing off to the side right now is also just kind of smashing the cherry tomatoes. Just squishing them off the side of the pan with a spoon to help bring out some of that moisture, and so it's not like a full roly-poly cherry tomato that you're trying to eat. So, shrimp are cooked. We're going to toss them in our butter and get them nice and delicious. You can see our tomato ragout has cooked down. Like I said, I mashed up the cherry tomatoes just a little bit. See, it's nice and saucy. See those delicious slices of garlic clove in there. We're going to season it with some salt and some pepper. Just a couple pinches of salt, a little pinch of pepper. You may need to adjust seasonings on how you like it. I always say once you can taste salt, you've over-salted. Salt is just supposed to bring out natural flavors of the food. We're going to finish it off with some fresh cut Italian parsley, and then we're just going to set that off to the side. As we finish up our polenta, which has been slowly cooking off to the side. And doesn't that ragout look nice and yummy? So, we've taken our polenta, thrown that back on some low heat. We've got our butter, our mascarpone cheese. You can see how kind of firm the polenta is right now. So we're going to get that nice and creamy again by adding all this delicious fat and creamy dairy product into it right now. So you see it also just kind of loosens itself back up once we stop stirring it. We're going to add in some Parmesan cheese. Give that a good mix. Get everything nice and incorporated. And we're going to season it with a little salt, pepper, and garlic powder. It's kind of the kosher kush trio of seasonings. Then we're going to mix everything in until that's nice and incorporated well. Give it a good taste. See if it needs to be adjusted, which needs more salt. And I think it needs a little more mascarpone cheese, so we're just going to finish off whatever was left in that container I had. It's just a small little container. Once that's all mixed in, it should be good to go. Ready to serve. And when it comes to serving, we're just going to take a bowl. We're going to pour in some of our polenta. We're going to put in some tomato ragout, put on some shrimp, and then pour in just a little bit of that butter that was cooked in the shrimp. And then there you have it. Hope you enjoy it, folks. You check out some of my other videos as well. Until then, or you can check out my live shows on 7 to 11, Monday through Friday on Facebook. Until then, have a good one. Later.